there. He's knocked out cold. Wow. Guys, that was just me looking like we saw John Fury. This is some leaked footage that was sent to me about John Fury's boxing career. You know, we heard of the stories of John Fury going into prison for gouging a guy's eye out, these are things of this nature. If you look at his boxing record, it was kind of a mystery, to really say the least. He had a professional career of 8 years, beginning in April of 1987 and ending in June of 1995. In a total, he was involved in 13 bouts. He made his professional debut on the 28th of April 1987. When he fought Adam Forgetti in Halifax, Yorkshire, West Yorkshire. He went on to win his next 6 fights until a draw with David Hopkins in Helsinki on the 13th of February. His last professional fight was reported against Steve Garber at the GMAC Century in Manchester in 1995. So, if you notice, his Wikipedia doesn't really say much about his career. So let's check out BoxRec. Let's see. Okay. John Fury BoxRec. All right. Well, he had 4 losses, 2 KOs. And the 2 KOs came from Steve Garber and Henry Akinwande. Okay, Henry Akinwande was from the first clip, and of course Steve Garber was from the second, where he was knocked out. Okay, these were KOs. Now, he lost on points for 1 fight, and I think the first fight he lost on points. So his first fight and his last fight he lost. He had 4 professional losses with 13 bouts total. Okay, because he had a draw, and the draw was against David Hopkins. Okay, so I don't know if this footage was basically meant to be covered up, but it did, get resurfaced. And I noticed something about John Fury. He's nothing like his son, unless he was just really fighting some tough mother suckers back then in his day. And he was a southpaw, no doubt. And the punches I seen him get hit with are punches that a southpaw never supposed to get caught with, if he's a decent southpaw. Okay, I think John Fury's problem was he was trying to do too much too fast, especially when he was knocked out by Henry Akinwande, and he was trying to trade with a guy that had the reach on him, that had the height on him, and he was trying to get on the inside and got caught with a straighter, longer punch. And Henry Akinwande, he's like 6'7". He's like Wilder's height. And John Fury's like 6'3", 6'4". So yeah, the chances were against him. The odds were against him greatly. Okay, so that was his KO in that fight. That was his 12th bout knockout. Okay, then he fought Darby, and then then Garber ended up knocking him out cold. Okay. Henry Akinwande knocked him out cold. Steve Garber, he didn't beat the count, but we didn't even see him get up. So yeah, those were 2 vicious knockdowns. And in the Garber fight, if you look at John Fury, you could see he was already caught with the same punch that he should have been anticipating the second time. I think John Fury's problem is he was too high strung for his own good. I think he's better off bare knuckling or something like that. But these gloves themselves were knocking him out. And these guys, he caught him inside with a straight right, Garber did. If you guys can tell, the straight right was just there. He clipped him and grazed him the first time. He should have took time to step back, but he was too busy landing his own left hand, trying to get revenge for a punch that nearly took his head off the first time. But the right hand was coming, knocking him out. And there he goes out like a light. And it's very interesting. So I was just told to counterpunch on this video because, of course, it was sent to me by a couple people. Now, shouts out to you guys, whoever you are, And it was crazy because you have a guy like John Fury that had had a couple sons, and they're both fighting now, and they're both undefeated, versus his career not being as memorable. However, I will say this in defense of John Fury. He's not the only person that did that. Not everyone can be that shining star because mostly it's Julio Cesar Chavez, Shane Mosley. Those type of guys were really known, and then the stepping stones after those guys weren't really so much. Like Chavez Jr. and Sugar Shane Mosley Jr. They're not as known as their father, but sometimes it's like Floyd Mayweather Sr. Okay, Floyd Mayweather Sr. didn't have you couldn't compare their career against each other. It's like comparing a watermelon to a grape, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. had a vast better career and perfect record than his dad did. His dad was destroyed by Leonard back in the day. Okay, so that should just give you a little light on sometimes some generations strive or thrive, and while the other ones do not. And then again, vice versa. But again, back to these knockouts. This is some cool footage, to see in depth on some of the knockouts that he have, but to be fair, I would like to see some of the wins. Okay. So, because all these really I don't see any knockouts. They weren't any knockouts. So he never KO'd anyone, for that matter. Okay, so, he had one knockout, but I don't even really see it. Okay, Cesar Benedito, no. Well, wow, and it just shows that in his career, if I guess that knockout is from that, I guess it's from the Michael Murray fight, but out of 13 bouts, that's a terrible record, but it just shows you again that some guys, in their generation, they're not as good as their kids, the second generation. So just giving you guys a little update and info in my counterpunch on these massive knockouts of John Fury, the father of Tyson Fury, which is now regarded as one of the best heavyweights around now. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of John Fury's KOs. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.